What is going on, guys? Welcome. We are live for the NFC and AFC championship games. Can't believe we're here already. It's been a fast season. I don't know about you, but it feels like this season has gone by extremely fast. Julian, how's it going? Welcome, everyone. We got two of the most exciting games of the season today. The top four offenses in the NFL remain. The top four offenses in the NFL. That's all who is left. Cameron Brait TV says, Logan. Kazak, good to see you. What is up, everyone? Thank you for joining. And I hope you're as excited as I am to watch some of the best football we're going to see all season long today. Guys, if you're watching live on YouTube, hit that like button. Really do appreciate it. We have the first game of the day. We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who have the fourth best offense in the NFL, against the Green Bay Packers, who rank number 2 if we adjust for strength of schedule, but they've scored the most points in the NFL. They've led the league in passing yards per game. I mean, this Packers offense was legit. It's MVP Aaron Rodgers against Tom Brady, who's trying to get his 7th Super Bowl ring. Is Singletary going to do well today? Devin Singletary is someone I wrote about a little in our DraftKings favorites on the WalterPicks app this week. If you're playing DFS on FanDuel or DraftKings this week, you definitely got to check out our DraftKings and FanDuel favorites in the WalterPicks app. But yeah, Devin Singletary is probably the best value running back that there is this week. And the reason simply is he has no competition for touches anymore. He's projected for 12.5 fantasy points, and he's really priced like he has been all season. But it's not going to be that surprising if we see Devin Singletary lead all running backs in touches this weekend. I think that's very possible. Friday night was electric. Jake, he sure was. Is Singletary going to do well today? I think he can. History tells me Tampa going to lose. Why does history tell you that? Devontae Adams and Robert Tonyan both to score today and hit their yards props. I think both of them are going to do very, very well today. What's up, Walter? We'll know the Super Bowl matchup by today. Jaden, yes, we will. My name is actually Sam. I built an artificially intelligent algorithm. His name is Walter. That's what we've been using to dominate player props and DFS. That's DraftKings and FanDuel on the WalterPicks app in the iOS App Store. My name's Sam. I'm just the one who helped build the algorithm. But the algorithm's name is Walter. Hit that like button if you're just tuning in on YouTube. My predictions for today. Let's get right into it. I posted a video early this week of my predictions for today. And yes, of course, we have a free prop pick today when we hit that 100 like mark, as always, on YouTube. And here's my predictions. And let me start this off by saying I think all 4 teams left. I think all 4 teams remaining, the Buccaneers, the Bills, the Chiefs, and the Packers, I think all 4 of those teams can win the Super Bowl. I will not be shocked if any of these teams wins the Super Bowl. I think they're all legit contenders at this point, and it won't shock me if any of these teams win the entire thing. But here are my picks for this weekend, because we got to make some picks. I'm taking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers over the Green Bay Packers. And in our simulations, we simulate each game 10,000 times. The Packers came out as favorites. They won around 55% of the time. And I see why that's the case. They have the home field advantage. There's going to be some cold weather. They've been a better offense this season, and offense is the most important thing in the NFL. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have also had a very good offense this season. This is 2 of the top 5 passing offenses in the NFL. Their passing defenses on both these teams has also been very good. Both of these passing defenses are top 12 in the NFL. So we have some interesting matchups on offense and defense. The big weakness, there's really no weakness for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But I don't think that their defense is going to be able to stop Aaron Rodgers. On the Packers side, the Packers' run defense is not good. That's probably the best part of your defense to not be good. If you were to choose a part of your defense to not be good, I'm choosing run defense to be bad 10 times out of 10 rather than the pass defense being bad, because passing is what drives winning in the NFL based on the research that I have done. But I can see the Buccaneers winning this game if they can get an early lead and they can run on the Packers. Ronald Jones is looking fully healthy. Ronald Jones had a good season. Leonard Fournette has been good in the playoffs. This is really the only area of this game where we have a strength of one team up against a weakness of another team. I do think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers can win this game. I'm picking them to win the upset. Again, our simulations are saying 55% chance the Packers win. I won't be surprised if the Packers blow out the Buccaneers. I won't be surprised if the Buccaneers blow out the Packers. I think anything can happen in this game. That's why I'm going with the underdog. And I'm going with Tom Brady because historically, you should not be betting against Tom Brady in the playoffs. All right, second game. We're going to talk a lot about that Buccaneers-Packers game moving forward, but let's talk a little bit about the Chiefs and the Bills. Listen, the Bills have been better than the Chiefs. The Bills have been better than the Chiefs over the last 2 months. The Bills' offense has been better than the Chiefs' offense. The Bills' offense has been virtually unstoppable. No team has been able to stop this Bills' offense. The Chiefs' offense has struggled at times, but if you go back and you watch the Chiefs games, and I go back and I rewatch every NFL game at least once, if you go back and watch these Chiefs games, the thing with the Kansas City Chiefs is even when they're not playing well, there's never a game that's out of reach for them. And it's kind of similar for the Bills, not quite to the same level as for the Chiefs, though. Like the Chiefs could be down 14 points, and they're still probably going to win the game when you're watching the game. And that's what is so unique about Patrick Mahomes and this Chiefs team. Patrick Mahomes, by the way, he's only ever lost one playoff game. I'm taking the Kansas City Chiefs in this game. I don't think the Buffalo Bills are going to be able to stop Patrick Mahomes. And the Bills' best chance to win this game, and they definitely have a chance to win this game. I mean, the Bills' offense has been good. If you look at the point totals it took to beat the Kansas City Chiefs in their last losses, I mean, you need to score at least 30 points if you want to beat the Chiefs, and probably a little over 35. So the Bills are going to have to put up some points. It really, their defense is not going to bail them out. It's going to have to be their offense that bails them out. Playoff Lenny. Yeah, Leonard Fournette has been in playoff form. He's done very well. The Bills definitely have a chance. Is Fournette going to get more touches than Ronald Jones? Jake, I would not count on that. Ronald Jones, he played, I think, only around 30% of the snaps last game. He still saw 13 carries. Leonard Fournette had 17. So Fournette out-touched him last week, but now we have a whole nother week of Ronald Jones getting healthy. I think that at worst case scenario, or best case scenario, depending how you're looking at it, Ronald Jones' minimum work in this game is going to be what he saw last game. Like the split between touches this game, that's what happened last game. That's the floor for Ronald Jones in this game. And it could easily rise above that. I won't be surprised if we see Ronald Jones get 60% of the touches in the backfield because that's what was going on throughout the season. Guys, don't forget. Yeah, playoff Lenny is a fun story, and he's done well in the playoffs. But playoff Lenny was literally a healthy scratch before Ronald Jones was hurt. He was a healthy scratch from this team. Ronald Jones is the starter. So I won't be surprised either way. It's a hard backfield to predict, but I would not be betting on Fournette to out-touch Ronald Jones. What injuries are there today? Yeah, there are some injuries. We have Sammy Watkins questionable. He's a game-time decision, but trending towards being out. We also have the best defensive tackle for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers back healthy and active in this game. He's been out for quite some time. For prop picks, do I do single game parlays or separate? Greg, don't parlay the props. If you're playing on Prize Picks or Underdog, I would recommend only parlaying two of them. I would never parlay more than two props because it lessens your odds more than it helps. It is fun to do. So if you're betting for fun, then that's when you can get into play with the props. But if you're betting to try to win money, like I typically am, you got to stay away from the parlays. It's really one of the best ways sportsbooks make money off of you. Can you comment on the weather for the Bills versus Chiefs game? Yes, I actually made a video about weather on TikTok. And guys, we're live on YouTube and TikTok right now. Hit that like button if you're watching live on YouTube. We're almost a fourth of the way there to 100 likes. When we get to 100 likes, I'll be giving away the free prop pick of the day. We cashed Aaron Jones to score a touchdown last week. We have another absolute cash this week that I want to share with you all once we hit 100 likes on this YouTube stream. And yes, Ryan, thank you, Ryan, in the YouTube chat. The only thing that I have found, and I've done a lot of research on weather, too much, to be honest. I've spent too many hours in my life researching weather in the NFL, and the only thing that I have found to have a statistically significant impact on offenses, say it from the top, Ryan, wind over 25 miles an hour. It's the only thing that I've found to have a statistically significant impact. And I think that seems obvious, by the way, but I think the biggest takeaway and the biggest advantage we can get from that research that I did is that don't overreact to any other types of weather. Only overreact when it's really windy. It is not supposed to be windy in this Packers game. The wind's actually supposed to be below 10 miles an hour, almost no wind. There is supposed to be snow. There is supposed to be cold temperatures. It's going to be freezing. It's going to be between 15 and 25 degrees. So I do think fading the weather hype. Exactly, Matt. Fading the weather hype helps. I think it's one of the easiest and least obvious edges. A lot of people, I can't tell you how many pieces of content I saw this week just only talking about the weather. Could you focus on a less important thing? I don't think you could. Stop focusing on like home field advantage, for example. That matters. Home field advantage absolutely matters. It in normal times, non-COVID times, home field advantage typically gives a team about 3 points on average. That's how it affects the spreads of games. And so, yeah, home field advantage for the Packers matters more than any type of weather that's happening in this game. Bucks +3 to the house. Yeah, Matt, if I was betting on these games, and I'm not betting on any of the spreads, any of the over-unders today, we will talk about them on the stream because, of course, that's a fun thing to talk about, and I know people are betting on that. But I can see all four of these teams, like I said at the beginning, I can see all four of these teams winning the Super Bowl. I'm not touching these games. I'm in on all four of our NFL props today. We got 2 NBA props in the WalterPicks app today as well. We've been cash, guys, in the NBA. If you haven't been following our NBA prop picks, we've had over 73% accuracy. 73%. We can't make this stuff up. 73% accuracy on the NBA prop picks, over 50 picks so far this season. We got 2 going today, but in the NFL, we got 4. We're a little over 65% accurate with the NFL props. I do think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers +3 is what I would go with in this game if you're betting on the spread. I think that the Buccaneers have a good chance to win the game. And so, yeah, I'll take the points, but I won't be surprised if the Packers win. I definitely will not be surprised. The Buffalo Bills versus the Chiefs game, 80% of the money is on the Chiefs. 80% of the money on the spread and on the money line is on the Kansas City Chiefs -3 and -150. And I don't think I disagree with that. And it's always concerning when you're in that vast majority, but the Bills can also win this game. And so +3 and +130 for them also is a little intriguing if you're betting on spreads or money line. I think the 2 underdogs both have a very real chance to win today. ESPN playoff pick'em picks. Yeah, listen, I'm going with the Bucks and the Chiefs today. I'm taking both those teams. I would love to see that Super Bowl. I think any Super Bowl matchup we get at this point is going to be fantastic. Ryan says NBA props have been deadly. Here at B Sam, he said he's made $1,000 so far this week just on the NBA props. This week, the subscription costs $5 a month. He's getting $1,000 a week. What a value proposition. Got to buy up to 3.5. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. If free prop hits, I'm buying yearly subscription. Maxwell, that's all I ask, man. That's all I ask. I think that's a fair deal, Maxwell. If the free prop hits, which we're going to give away 70 likes from now, we're getting close. Hit that like button if you're watching live on YouTube. If the free prop hits, then use that money to go subscribe in the app. And then you get a full year of free props if you do it that way. Use the free prop from today, cash it, subscribe to the app for $5 a month, and you get unlimited free props. It's too easy. It's too easy. Do you take Zelle? I don't take Zelle. No, you got to subscribe in the WalterPicks app on the iOS App Store. What's up, Sam? Will Sully, how's it going, my man? Which QB would you start in DraftKings? Let's go. Yeah, in the WalterPicks app, I put out my DraftKings favorites earlier this week, and at the quarterback position, I really do like the value I'm seeing for Tom Brady today. He's projected for around 21 points. Brady is averaging the most deep balls per game in the NFL, and on these 2-game slates, like a 2-game slate, it requires a slightly different strategy than a main slate with like 8+ games. On a 2-game slate, you have to take more risks, and you need the right players with low ownership to really win these tournaments. Tom Brady could be that, and stacking Tom Brady with Chris Godwin today has me excited. Tom Brady, again, averaging the most deep ball attempts per game in the NFL. Nobody's throwing the ball deep more than Tom Brady. By the way, the Packers, Aaron Rodgers, he's throwing the deep the 3rd most in the NFL. Guess who's number 2? That's Josh Allen. We're going to see some fun offenses today. I'm expecting an extremely offensive day. CEH or Fournette? I'd go Clyde. Sam, please raise your prices. You are basically giving money away. Yeah, Jake, I think we do got to consider raising the prices. I think we will consider raising the prices as time goes on. So get those subscriptions while you can before that happens. Your NBA props are players a lot of times that are not on most books. Oh, you got to check out Prize Picks and Underdog app. Click that. You got to click that place prop picks here in our app, and you'll find most of those picks just right there. Luke is asking, what's the free pick? Luke, when we get to 100 likes on this YouTube live stream, we're almost halfway there, by the way. About 10 minutes into the stream, we're almost halfway there. Hit that like button on YouTube. When we get to 100 likes, I'll be giving away the free prop pick of the day. No, $5 a month on the annual renewal. That's exactly right, Noah. So $60 up front. That's all it's going to take. Jake, did you end up winning the head-to-head league, Jake? I did not end up winning the head-to-head league. I took second place. I actually got absolutely smoked in the finals. I think I almost got doubled up in terms of the points scored. He played Traquan Smith. He had another really low-priced wide receiver that week that ended up going over 20 points, and then he just smashed all the top plays. Yeah, Matt, it was brutal. It was a tough one, but it's a really hard league to win. Obviously, 64 teams. I came in second. We'll take it. I still took home $2K, and it was about a $100 entry, so not bad at all. 2.5 to win 152K today. Joe, that's what I'm talking about. Are you taking the over or under on the Chiefs game? I would take over on both of these games. I like the snow over in the Packers game. I would take the over on both games, though. I hate betting on unders. And every offense today, there's not an offense playing today that can't score like at any point in the game. They throw the ball deep. These four teams throw the ball deep at a top 5 rate in the NFL. All four of these teams. They're going to be scoring a lot of points. Is Rojo or Fournette starting? Noah, nobody really knows. My best guess is Ronald Jones ends up out-touching Leonard Fournette, but that's not what happened last week. I'm expecting Ronald Jones to be slightly healthier than he was, though. You think Bills and Bucks can both win? Yes. Yes, absolutely, they both can win. They absolutely can both win. Spencer, we got so unlucky in that game. Absolute blowout of a game, so nobody played in the fourth quarter. It was brutal. They were well on the way. Yeah, Jake, it was tough to watch. I mean, I basically shut off the game when the fourth quarter started because it was like, oh, yeah, I mean, the starters are done. It was disappointing. Are you worried about the Mahomes injuries, concussion and foot? This is a good question. The foot, to me, the concussion, I mean, it's anybody's guess. That hit on Patrick Mahomes last week, he couldn't stand. He literally could not stand up normally when he was hit. I mean, the fact that he went through the concussion protocol so fast, and I don't want to speculate because really the only person that knows if he is healthy is Patrick Mahomes at this point with what the information that we're given, but he could barely stand. So I'm really hoping we don't see Patrick Mahomes take any big hits today. But the fact that he was cleared so early in the week is a good sign, and I'm not so worried about the concussion in terms of his play. The foot, though, is something to monitor, but he played, to me, he was playing just fine, even with the foot injury. I think it's not going to hold him back very much. Yeah, they were up 14-0 2 minutes into the game. That's crazy. Packers or Bucks? I'm going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in this game because I can't get myself to bet against Tom Brady in the playoffs when he's playing a team. He has the better defense and he has the better offensive weapons. I mean, if you just take away how well Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers have played this season, because Aaron Rodgers, MVP this year, Aaron Rodgers led the NFL in passing touchdowns. He's had top 5 completion percentage. He's third. The fact that he's third in deep ball attempts per game, but still top 5 in completion percentage is absolutely bananas. Like that type of thing is something that really shows you how good Aaron Rodgers was this season, because Tom Brady, he threw the most deep ball attempts per game in the NFL, but his completion percentage because of that suffered. His completion percentage was like in the 10 to 15th ranked range. Aaron Rodgers threw the 3rd most deep ball attempts. He's still ranked 5th in completion percentage. Like he's hitting his deep attempts at a much higher rate than other people in the NFL. And I do think, though, the big, like, to me, this game and the outcome of this game will tell us so much about Aaron Rodgers. I think this game is all about Aaron Rodgers. I mean, at the end of the day, if Aaron Rodgers can play like he's played this season, the Packers are going to win this game. The Packers are going to win this game. If Aaron Rodgers can play like he's played this season, in every single game, except for the game when they played against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He had 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions in that game. He was pressured on over 33% of his dropbacks. He got absolutely obliterated. And I remember this game very well. I actually think I rewatched this game multiple times that week after the game, and I went back and rewatched it again this week. And he looked awful in that game. I mean, he really looked flustered. There were talks about like the whole Packers team being bad after that game. And it was really the only game that was like that all season. So if Aaron Rodgers can prove that game was a fluke, which he can prove that game was a fluke today, and he can prove that what he did this season, he can translate that to the playoffs, then the Packers have a very real shot at the Super Bowl, and they're probably going to win today. But if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers can do defensively what they did last time they played, getting pressure up the middle. By the way, their best defensive tackle is back. He's been out for a while. That could help. If they can do that, then the Buccaneers have a legit shot at this game. Yeah, I agree, Matt. It is a one-game sample. And that is why I think Aaron Rodgers can still do very well today. And I think that it's going to come down to, from the Buccaneers' perspective, I don't think their defense is going to end up bailing them out. I think that Tom Brady in this offense is going to have to score points. I don't think any team is going to win today without scoring at least 4 touchdowns. Like that's how I'm seeing these games. You're gonna need at least 4 touchdowns if you want any chance at winning these games. And offensively speaking, that's how I would approach the game if I was any of these teams. Clyde's rushing line is only at 37. 3-7. And the Bills have not been very good against the run, by the way. But Noah, here's why. How healthy is he? Is Darrell Williams going to continue to get work? Because Darrell Williams has been doing okay. He's actually been doing quite well. So is Clyde Edwards-Helaire going to get, how many carries is he going to get? Is he going to get, he could only get 5 carries in this game. He could also get 10. I would project him between 5 and 10 carries. And so that makes that 37-yard prop look a little less enticing. NBA, trade Beal and Ayton for Giannis and Devontae Graham. What do you think? Yeah, I think that's a fair trade, Luigi. Free prop pick of the week is coming. We are over halfway there. Hit that like button if you're watching live on YouTube, guys, and hit that subscribe button too. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, guys, we started this YouTube channel less than 2 months ago. We're almost at 3,000 YouTube subscribers. The goal for next season is going to be passing 10,000. So you can help us get started towards that goal. Hit that like and subscribe button. My day's been going great, Yarjma. Thanks for asking. I was very excited to get on stream today. I'm excited about these 2 games, and I'm starting to get sad because I always get sad when the NFL season's coming to an end. I love the NFL season. I love watching the NFL, and there's only 3 games left in the season. So that is sad. But I'm very excited for the 2 games today. I think it's going to be the 2 best games of the season. Is the pick Tonyan TD and yards? The free prop pick is not have to do with Robert Tonyan. That's what you heard. You heard wrong. How you feel about SGA getting 20 versus the Clippers after dropping 30 last game? Yeah, I'm interested in him. But to me, I think he's going to get right around 20. I have Bucks Chiefs today. I do as well, Bailey. I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Kansas City Chiefs. And guys, if you haven't tried out the WalterPicks app yet, I built an artificially intelligent algorithm. His name is Walter. He now does projections for the NFL and the NBA more accurately than anything else that's out there. We've had over 65% accuracy using it to win player prop bets this season. Over 200 picks in the NFL, we've had over 65% accuracy. In the NBA, we've had about 50 picks in our first season. So not including any of the back test stuff. In the first season with our algorithm, we're over 70%. Over 70% accuracy. Here in the stream said that they made $1,000 this week with the NBA props. Do you like Pacers first half money line? I don't like NBA spreads or money lines at all. It's actually one of the reasons props are even more advantageous in the NFL, in the NBA. The spread market in the NBA is so hard to beat, but the prop market is actually really, really soft. As a Pats fan, I can't bet against Tom in the playoffs. Yeah, Dan, neither can I. We've seen it too many times, Dan. We've seen this story too many times. Tom Brady, by the way, he's only been an underdog in 6 games. 6 games ever in the playoffs, I think. 6 games. And he has a winning record as an underdog in the playoffs. You can't bet against Tom Brady. You just can't bet against Tom Brady. But the Packers should be favored in this game. They should be favored because Aaron Rodgers was the MVP, best quarterback in the NFL. He was dominating in the touchdown column. This offense scored more points than any other team in the NFL. Brown or Beasley? I'm going with John Brown over Cole Beasley today. John Brown is looking healthy. He looks the healthiest he's been really since the start of the season, and that's a good thing for the Buffalo Bills. Will Devontae Adams get over 100 receiving yards? Probably. I think his over-under is right around 100, Adam. And if I had to choose, I would choose the over. Brady to have a pick, minus 125. Yeah, I don't think Brady's throwing an interception today. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is throwing an interception today. I don't know if you saw this. Tom Brady gets a $500,000 bonus if they win today. Tom Brady gets $500K, $500,000 if they win this game. He's already gotten over $1 million in incentives this playoffs. I mean, I've been thinking a lot about, by the way, as we're thinking about expanding WalterPicks and how to incentivize people the best possible way. Think about how well the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have incentivized Tom Brady. They say, all right, Tom, we'll sign you on this contract. We're going to pay you, by the way, what you're worth, pay you more than what the New England Patriots were going to pay you. But we're also going to add these incentives into your contract that if you take us through the playoffs, you're going to make over $3 million more dollars. Like, that is the perfect way to incentivize Tom Brady. Absolutely insane. About to go on the monthly premium plan. Thanks, Josh. Yeah, and I recommend the annual plan because if you subscribe to the annual subscription, first of all, it's way less per month. Second of all, you're already paying for all of the NFL fantasy football draft content that's going to be in the app in the months leading up to the NFL season, as well as all of the prop picks and all of the DFS advice throughout the entire NFL season. And there's whispers that we could be increasing the price of the WalterPicks app relatively soon. And so you can lock in that annual subscription now. Bucks and Bills parlay plus 510. Joe, don't hate it. I don't hate it. I really don't. I think both of those teams can win today. Like I said at the very beginning of the stream, I think all four teams left to me have a very real chance to win the Super Bowl. I could see all four of these teams winning the Super Bowl because all four of these teams, all four of them, are the top four offenses in the NFL. Number one was the Bills. Number two was the Packers. Number three was the Chiefs. And number four was the Bucks. The top four offenses are left. And I've had this belief for quite some time. This is not a new take from me. Offense is by far the most important thing in the NFL. And it's been trending this way for decades now. But with the way that the passing game and how much more efficient passing has gotten over the last 20 years, the passing attacks on teams is the greatest possible advantage you can get in the NFL. Patrick Mahomes, by the way, himself is the single biggest advantage that any NFL team has. It's why I made a friendly bet with one of my close friends before the season. I bet him $300 that the Kansas City Chiefs would win a Super Bowl once in the next 5 years. I bet him $300 to win $200. And they're probably going to win it this year. They're still the favorites to win the Super Bowl. Even though they haven't done that great in their games, they're still the favorites to win the Super Bowl. And that is because of Mahomes. Mahomes is never out of a game. He's never out of the game. And there's no other team that's like that. The only other team that you could argue is like that is the Buffalo Bills. Sam, how much is the annual package? Ben, it's $60 up front. Comes out to $5 per month. That's it. Go annual, bro. Just get him his money so he can go full time for us. Josh, that's what I'm talking about, man. That is the goal, Josh. That is the goal, to be working full time on WalterPicks. And I can only do that if we can get enough subscriptions in the app, in the WalterPicks app. So I do appreciate that, Josh. The single best way you can all help me is to go subscribe to the annual subscription in the WalterPicks app. Monthly is great too, but I like the annual subscription the most. When are you expanding to basketball? Jason, you're 2 weeks behind, Jason. We've expanded to basketball 2 weeks ago, and we've had over 70% accuracy on our NBA prop picks since we started our NBA tool. We've had over 50 picks identified. We have two more today, by the way. We went 5 for 5 on Friday night. 5 for 5. We had people that were betting on the parlayed 5 picks. There were literally people, many of our subscribers won thousands of dollars just on Friday night. Josh Allen and Mahomes for 7 TDs, minus 115. Would you take it? Mahomes and Allen to combine for 7 touchdowns. I don't hate it because I think either of those guys could score 5 today. Like, both those guys have 5 within their range of outcomes. It's not the best prop, but I don't hate it. I really don't. And I think that all 4 of the quarterbacks today, one of my bold predictions of the week, all 4 quarterbacks today could combine for over 1,500 passing yards. It's about 350 yards apiece. Like, all 4 quarterbacks today have 400 yards in their range of outcomes. Like, it's not going to be that big of a surprise if any quarterback today throws for 400 yards. That's how good these offenses are. Yeah, Phil, that's an interesting feature, man. I'm going to write that one down, actually, because that's an interesting idea. We're thinking about ways to expand that. And the NBA DFS optimizer really is, this is the very beginning of our DFS optimizer. I have a lot of ideas that we are going to be implementing into our optimizer for NFL and NBA very soon. And it's going to involve stacking. It's going to involve finding the right correlations between players, and really anything we can do, one that gives us an edge, but also that just makes our process more efficient and more automated. That's what the WalterPicks app is all about. So yeah, thanks for that suggestion, Phil. I'll look into that. How did you use the name WalterPicks instead of Sam Picks? Listen, I'm not the one making the picks, so it couldn't be Sam Picks. I'm the one who's spending hundreds of hours building an algorithm. And we needed to name the algorithm. The algorithm's name is Walter. To me, like I got a little fed up with how many people there were out there selling their advice when it was just really their personal opinions they were selling. And that's really where the idea of Walter came about. Let's build an algorithm to guide our decisions using machine learning and AI, the most advanced math that's out there. How can we make this system more mathematical and more process-based, not just someone's personal opinion? And so we named the algorithm Walter, and thus sprouted WalterPicks in the iOS App Store. Walter is literally better than IBM Watson. Literally, he is. He literally is. In the NFL, he was more accurate than IBM's Watson. Yeah, this is true. Do you like Diggs to go over 100 receiving yards and 1 TD? Don't hate it. He's done that, and he's gone over 100 yards in both playoff games. I won't be surprised at all if Stephon Diggs has a huge game. But I'm not betting on that one. I'm only betting on the 4 prop picks that are in the WalterPicks app, because that's the system I've built. That's the system I've had a positive return on investment with since the start of 2019. Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers to combine for 600 yards. Yeah, I like that one. I do think that's going to happen. Lucas, any updates on the Android version? Yes. The deadline I have set for myself and my team to have the Android version in the App Store is by the start of the fantasy football draft season. So by the start of like a month at least before the NFL season, that's the latest we got to get it in. It could come anytime before that. So we're working on it, Lucas. Also for the NBA optimizer, try to look in the DraftKings slates. Yeah, there's a lot of different slates. We are looking into the different slates. What are you going to do in the app between NBA and NFL season? By that point, in the NBA season, I think ends. The NBA season goes on for a while. The playoffs last for a very long time. So we'll have really up until the end of the NBA season. The second the NBA season ends, and probably even before, we're going to be talking about fantasy football drafts. That's what it's going to be all about. I think Walter would kill baseball props. Ben, I don't love baseball, but we might have to work our way there eventually, Ben. Kelsey is a guaranteed TD today, right? Yeah, I think his odds are really bad, though, Dante. I won't be surprised if he scores at all, though. Travis Kelsey, I think I posted this at the very beginning of the week on TikTok. Travis Kelsey's up against the second worst defense, against tight ends this year. I mean, Travis Kelsey is lining up perfectly in this game, and it's why his props are so huge. I think his over-unders around 90 yards. His touchdown probability is at like 65% implied probability. Travis Kelsey's up against the Buffalo Bills. No team allowed more receiving yards per game to tight ends than the Buffalo Bills, except for the New York Jets, who are just atrocious at stopping tight ends. So yeah, Travis Kelsey's probably going to have a day. What is your unit, Scott? It's changed. It's changed throughout time. When I first started with Walter in early 2019, my units were around, I think, $20 or $25. And they've grown substantially since then. Although I did, like at the beginning of the NFL season, Scott, I basically took every dollar I had in my bank account and I put it towards building the app. So that lowered my units back down to what they had been, but I was able to raise my bank account enough to launch WalterPicks using, like, I think right before we launched WalterPicks, my units were around 100 to 150. Now they're in around the 50 to 75 range, depending on the prop. Worried about Alexander shutting Evans down? Yeah, I think he definitely can. He did last time they played, and he covered. Mike Evans was covered by Alexander on 80% of his routes the last time these two teams played. 80% of Mike Evans' routes he was covered by Alexander, and I think that does matter. I think that he can shut down Mike Evans. Spencer, that's what I'm talking about. How much are you putting on the Walter pick bets on average? Dante, as much as I possibly can while living and planning to potentially work full time with no salary. Dante, what's your lineup for today? Yeah, let's talk some DFS, because the 2-game slate is very, very challenging. A 2-game slate, there's only 4 teams to choose from. It does make things a little bit different. It should change your game theory a little bit. I think you need to be stacking the correct low ownership stacks. And to me, that stack today is Tom Brady and Chris Godwin. Listen, no Antonio Brown. Brady has thrown for 340 plus yards in 6 out of his last 9 games. 66% of his last 9 games. He's thrown for over 340 yards. Chris Godwin, by the way, he has been absolutely dominating with Tom Brady this year. He's 4 straight games with at least 7 targets. He's averaging 83 receiving yards per game over the last month. He's gone for over 75 yards in 3 of his last 4 games. Chris Godwin and Tom Brady, that's the stack in DFS for me. I think it's a great value on DraftKings and on FanDuel. I also do like John Brown's value on FanDuel. I think that John Brown has upside, especially if you're playing in tournaments. The upside with John Brown is there. Who dubs it, bro? I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers today, but I believe all 4 teams left have a legitimate shot to win the Super Bowl. Guys, hit that like button if you're watching live on YouTube. When we get to 100 likes, we will be giving away the free prop pick of the day. We have had over 80% accuracy. I mean, I don't know of anyone else out there in the industry that has any accuracy even close to 80%. And I don't think, I'm not even expecting to replicate 80% accuracy next season, but we had 80% accuracy giving away free prop picks this year. We only had 3 free props miss. There's only been 3 all year. This is week 21, everyone. We've had 3 picks miss. And we have another free prop for you today that I'm very excited about and very confident about. Nick Chubb last week might have been the worst beat of all time. Philip, it was a horrible, horrible beat last week with Nick Chubb. Honestly, with all the props, with Mahomes getting injured, that really set us back. And Lamar Jackson getting injured also really set us back. I mean, we got screwed with injuries, but we also had Nick Chubb was 1 yard away from his prop, and he had 2 carries or 3 carries after that, and he went for -1 yards over his last 3 carries, never touched the ball again as the Browns fell behind. It was brutal. It reminded me of Philip Lindsay earlier this, I think it was week 13. I think I still have nightmares about that Philip Lindsay prop where he had 28 yards. The over-under was 27.5. His last carry of the game goes -4 yards. Do you think I would really make my money back if I subscribe? Yeah, Trent, I really do. I really do. And Trent, hear me out, Trent. If you're worried about subscribing, take the free prop pick today, which is coming 25 likes from now on YouTube. Take the free prop pick, bet $60 on the free prop pick, win $60, and then use that to go subscribe in the app. And then you get a full year of just props, and you can choose the ones you like the most, and the ones you don't like, you don't need to bet on. So Trent, there you go. You just got free access to the WalterPicks app if you just use the free prop pick from today, which is coming in about 20 likes. Guys, make sure you're hitting that like button so we can get to that 100 like mark. Guys, these are going to be probably the 2 best games of the season. And I'm always sad around this time of year because the NFL season's ending. I love the NFL season. It's by far the best time of year, in my opinion. So I'm sad that the NFL season is coming to an end, but this is also the most exciting part of the NFL season. I think these 2 games are going to be very, very entertaining. We have the top 4 offenses in the NFL left. The top 4 offenses in the NFL left. That's all who's left. Who do you like today? I'm taking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and I'm taking the Kansas City Chiefs. But I would not be betting on the games, and I'm not betting on the games, and I'm not betting on the over-unders. I'm only betting on the player props, as I almost always do, because I think all 4 teams have a legit shot today. So if I was betting on these games, I think I would go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Buffalo Bills. I take the points. I take the odds because I think both those teams could very well win these games. Bet 365, says someone, if you're looking for a place to bet. Do you like round robins with your picks? No, I don't. I don't really like parlays unless you're parlaying just 2 players, and I don't love round robins. It's more exciting because it gives you more upside, but it really, really lowers the floor. Like the outcome of you winning 0 or losing all of the money that you just bet is increasingly multiplied times higher. So I don't love it. I don't love round robins. I don't love parlays. I got Bills Bucks. Yeah, that could definitely happen. And I do think any team left can win the Super Bowl. Guys, Aaron Rodgers was the best quarterback in the NFL this season. He's the MVP of the NFL. He led the NFL in touchdowns. He had top 5 completion percentage, best quarterback rating in the NFL. Top 5 completion percentage, despite throwing the 3rd most deep attempts per game, is an absolutely insane stat. I don't know if there's ever been a quarterback that's been top 3 in deep attempts per game, but also top 5 in completion percentage. Those 2 things together is really, really impressive. Greg Olsen has just retired. Wow. New to sports betting, only do fantasy. Do you suggest DraftKings or FanDuel? Jason, welcome. Welcome. And they're pretty much the exact same thing, Jason. I like DraftKings a little bit more, but they're really the exact same thing. I would say choose one of them. Get familiar with one of them first. I'm most familiar with DraftKings because I have a few season-long things that I do with a bunch of people on DraftKings. So I like DraftKings a tiny bit more just for that reason, but they're really the exact same product. They're the exact same thing with different names. They actually tried to merge at one point, and it was shut down. They together, DraftKings and FanDuel, own 90% of the DFS market, 90%. Most people don't know what DFS is, stands for Daily Fantasy Sports, but they do know what DraftKings and FanDuel is. It's pretty wild. Bucks plus 155 is good value. Yeah, I do think so as well. Yeah, stick to the props today, man, because these are some offensive teams. These are some very offensive teams. I don't think Mahomes is 100%, so Bills on top. That's a very good rationale. I think that's a really good rationale. Someone from the TikTok comments says they don't think Mahomes is 100%, and so I'm taking the Bills. Yeah, I think that's a good reason to take the Bills. If you don't think Mahomes is 100%, like if Mahomes is not 100%, then this game should not, like they should not be favored. Josh Allen has been good enough to beat an injured Mahomes. So if Mahomes' injury is like, if Mahomes is at less than 80% of himself, then they're probably going to lose. Like they need all of Mahomes today. So it'll be interesting to see if he is healthy or is not. We're only 18 likes away, guys, from giving away that free prop pick. So hit that like button if you're watching live on YouTube. If you're watching live on TikTok, come join the YouTube stream. Hit that like button. We can get that free prop pick sooner. We're going to be inching towards today, guys, 3,000 YouTube subscribers. So hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed yet. We started this YouTube channel like 2/3, if not more, of the way through the season, and we're almost at 3,000 subscribers. I'm trying to hit 10,000 subscribers next NFL season, and the ambitious goal, and the team set the goal of getting 10,000 by the end of next NFL season. I'd like to get 10,000 YouTube subscribers by the start of the next NFL season with all the NFL fantasy football draft content we're going to do. Who's going to get more snaps, Fournette or Ronald Jones? I'm going with Ronald Jones. I think that it honestly won't surprise me if Fournette gets more snaps. But Joey, what you really want to know is who's going to touch the ball more, right? Touches matter more than snaps, and there is a correlation there. But I think there's a chance that Fournette out-snaps Ronald Jones, but Ronald Jones out-touches Leonard Fournette. It's a really tough one to pick because Ronald Jones was the starter. He was the starter. Guys, Leonard Fournette, playoff Lenny, was a healthy scratch before Ronald Jones was injured. He was a healthy scratch. They were playing LeSean McCoy over Leonard Fournette. And Ronald Jones was doing really well. So I won't be surprised at all if he ends up out-rushing Leonard Fournette today. Is there any chance I could get a yearly sub with Venmo? Kevin, no, you got to go subscribe in the WalterPicks app on the iOS App Store. If you don't have an iPhone, and you're not planning on getting an iPhone soon, then we're coming to Android soon. So you gotta wait. And you gotta follow us on our social media because we give away free prop picks as well. Chiefs, Bills, or Bucks defense, DFS. Spencer, the defenses for DFS today is probably the hardest decision. What defense are you supposed to play? The top 4 offenses are left. Like, are you really going to play the Bills defense against the Chiefs? You can't. You can't play a defense against Patrick Mahomes. You can't play a defense against Aaron Rodgers. You can't play a defense against Tom Brady, who's thrown for over 340 yards in 6 of his last 9 games. And you don't want to play a defense against Josh Allen. And those are the 4 defenses that we got to choose from. And so I chose to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because I feel like there's a range of outcome. Like there's a scenario in this game that could happen where the Buccaneers get an early lead. They're able to simulate some of the pressure that they were able to do in the last time they played against the Packers. They've been the only defense that stopped the Packers this year. And because they get that early lead, they can exploit the big weakness of the Green Bay Packers defense, which is rushing. They've had a bottom 10 rushing defense this season. So my rationale for going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense here is there's one small possibility in this game where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers get an early lead. They're able to dominate on the ground, and their defense simulates some pressure, and they end up doing really well. So I'm going with the Buccaneers defense, but I mean, the Buccaneers defense is also priced, I think, the 3rd lowest on both DraftKings and FanDuel. So the value's there. Is there a free prop pick this week, Nathan? Yes, there is. We need 4 more likes on this YouTube stream. We're going to hit that. Hit that like button, guys, if you're watching live on YouTube, and we will give away that free prop pick of the day. And by the way, before the stream ends, and we still got plenty of time. Don't worry. We got at least 20 minutes left in the stream, but we're going to be live a couple of hours before the Super Bowl. So I hope you plan on joining us. We're going to have we're going to have a lot of props for the Super Bowl. There's also always these insane, nothing to do with football props. I'll be talking about some of those in the Super Bowl stream as well. That's going to be a fun one. So don't miss out on that. Make sure you're following us on TikTok and subscribing to us on YouTube. Hit that bell notification. 100 likes, guys. We're there. What do you think about Singletary today? I won't be surprised if Singletary leads all running backs in touches. I think that's within his range of outcomes. I also won't be surprised if he just doesn't touch the ball more than 10 times. There's a really wide range of outcomes for Devin Singletary. The nice thing about Devin Singletary is he has no competition. I'm seeing some W's. That's what I'm talking about, everyone. I'm seeing some W's in the YouTube comments. We're over 100 likes. Make sure you're hitting that like button if you haven't yet. So it's time for the free prop pick of the day. And I'm going to be totally honest with you. I was planning on a different free prop. And I'm going to share, I'm kind of sharing two with you, but I'm really only recommending one. The first free prop pick that I really wanted to share with you was Chris Godwin, because I love Chris Godwin today. And when this prop first was released, the second it was released, it was at Chris Godwin over 63.5 receiving yards. That's moved. I think most books have it around 72 now. But Chris Godwin has gone over 75 yards in three out of his last four. Yeah, the line got absolutely blew up. So that's not the free prop pick, Matt. It's not the free prop pick. I wanted to share that with you, though, because we've seen some serious line movement on a lot of our picks, and I think that is actually a good validation of us picking the right players. So if you were subscribed in the WalterPicks app, you would have gotten a push notification, as long as you're subscribed to push notifications, that we just identified Chris Godwin over 63.5 receiving yards. You should go bet on it immediately, because this one's almost definitely seeing line movement. Then we see Antonio Brown rolled out. The line's almost at 72 now. So make sure you subscribe to those push notifications. But here's the free prop pick of the day, everyone. Here's the free prop pick. John Brown, over 49.5 receiving yards. Let me explain why. Listen, we cashed on John Brown with ease last week. All the premium subscribers cashed on John Brown last week. His line has only moved 4 yards from where it was last week. 4 yards. Last week, it was 45.5. This week, it's 49.5. He had an 81% snap share, a team high, tied with Stephon Diggs, 11 targets in his last game. This is the healthiest John Brown has been since like week 4 of the season. Listen to this stat, guys. In games where John Brown has at least one reception, just one, we're looking at just games where John Brown has one catch. Games where John Brown has at least one catch. Did he catch the ball at least once? In those games, he's going over 50 yards 62.5% of the time. Yes, lock it in, over 53.5. The official line that I got was 49.5. Listen to this stat. He's gone over 50 yards 62.5% of the time. He has at least one catch. He's averaging 65 yards per game in games where he has at least one catch. So yeah, take John Brown. I take it as high as 55. Take John Brown as high as 55. I locked it in at 49.5. Again, if you subscribe in the WalterPicks app, you'll get those push notifications as soon as we identify the lines, the second they're released. And then you can get slightly better odds. But yeah, I like it up to 55. Brown is up against a Chiefs secondary that is good. They've allowed the second fewest receiving yards per game to receivers this season. But John Brown is going to have at least one catch today. And in games where he has at least one catch, he's averaging 65 yards per game. The Chiefs are going to have to focus on Stephon Diggs. We have John Brown projected for 61 yards. Yeah, no, I'm confident in Godwin as well. Yeah, I actually don't have the option for notifications in the WalterPicks app. Matt, I'm working on that. Spencer, yeah, I think there is in the next update, I think we're going to have a bug fix with that. My book is at 54.5. Yeah, I'm liking John Brown over 55. What do you think about taking the under on Devin Singletary? Receiving plus rushing yards. I don't hate it, but he has no competition. And if the Bills do get a lead in the game, he's probably going to go over that. Tampa Bay, yes, I'm glad someone brought this up. Thank you, JFP Sports. Tampa Bay has a chance to be the first team ever in the history of the NFL to play the Super Bowl in their home stadium. First team ever. The last time a team had this chance, it did not go well. Yes, I do remember that. I forget what team it was, but I do remember us talking about it. And it did not go well for the team that had a chance to do it. Remind us, JFB, in the comments. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, unfortunately, this year, it doesn't really mean as much because the Super Bowl is not going to be full capacity, and they're not going to have over 50% of the fans be Buccaneers fans. So it really doesn't matter that much, though it would be interesting. The Vikings. Was it the Vikings? Jared, good to see you, my man. It was the Cowboys. Was it the Cowboy? You guys are confusing me. We need JFP Sports. Eagles, Vikings, he says. Lost to the Eagles. Yeah, it was the Vikings. Everyone is correct. Yeah, it was the Vikings who lost to the Eagles. What do you think about Beasley for the game today? I think he's the major X factor in the game. Yeah, Cole Beasley is going to be an interesting one to watch. And again, the free prop pick of the day is John Brown over 50 receiving yards. Lock that one in. Go lock that in. If you haven't locked that one in yet, you got to go lock in John Brown. But Cole Beasley has been a big part of this offense for a lot of the season. He did absolutely nothing last week, nothing. But he was out there for almost every snap, and he is looking relatively healthy. And so, yeah, I won't be surprised if we see Cole Beasley do well today. And I won't be surprised if we see John Brown do even better. I'm taking John Brown over Cole Beasley today. I think John Brown, honestly, is the real X factor in this game. Give me your best sleeper player with the biggest boom probability in the first game today. The best player with the most sleeper probability, the best player with the most boom probability who's a sleeper is probably Scotty Miller, right? With no Antonio Brown. And a lot of people are liking the other receiver to pick up some of the slack for Antonio Brown. But I do like Scotty Miller the most to fill in the Antonio Brown role. Scotty Miller has done well this season. He's been really efficient. So I do like him a little bit. I also like Valdez-Scantling in this first game too. I think Scotty Miller and Scantling are very interesting sleepers. And if you're looking for low props, those weren't identified by Walter, but those both are pretty intriguing to me. Scantling led the NFL in yards per catch. He led the NFL. Like if Scantling catches the ball, he's probably going over his over, and he's probably going to be returning value in DFS. So I do like it. What was other prop pick that the line changed a lot? It was Chris Godwin. We got it at 63.5. 63.5 is what we got it at when the line was first released. And in some books, it's as high as 72. Can we discuss how bad of a beat the two NBA props were last night? Yes, Scott, please. Can we discuss that a little bit? We launched our NBA product. We launched our NBA product in the WalterPicks app. It's giving prop picks and DFS advice. And we've had over 70% accuracy. We went 5 for 5 on Friday night. We were trying to go 7 straight yesterday. We had 2 props, both in the same game. And that game literally ended in the third quarter. It was such a big blowout that not a single starter played the entire fourth quarter of the game. And the NBA is pretty crazy with this. Like, this is something that can happen in the NBA, but it really does not. Blowouts like this, the Jazz were up 16-0 or something like that to start the game. Absolutely ridiculous. Hey, should I accept this trade? Kyrie Irving, DeAndre Ayton, and Austin Rivers for Giannis. If you're getting Giannis, yes. Otherwise, no. I think another cool feature would be a DFS optimizer option where it assembled the team with the highest boom probability for tournaments. Yeah, that is an interesting idea, Phil. You're coming up with some good ones, Phil. I think you shouldn't be giving away this advice for free. I appreciate it. First score prediction. Yeah, let's talk about who's going to score the first touchdown. And I don't recommend these bets, but I understand they're one of the most fun bets in the NFL because first touchdown scorer gives you really good odds. Like, you are getting decent odds, but I don't recommend betting on it because the odds aren't actually that good in terms of the probability of things happening. But if we're betting on first touchdown today, I'm going with, on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers side, I think I'd either go with Ronald Jones or Chris Godwin. And on the Aaron Rodgers Green Bay Packers side, I'd probably go with Aaron Jones. I like going with the running backs in these first touchdown props. For the Bills Chiefs game, though, I'd probably go Travis Kelce, John Brown, or Stephon Diggs. Yo, Sam, is CEH playing? Yes, Marcus, he is. He's back. I'm very surprised, by the way, that he is back. I did not think he was going to be back. If you looked at that injury in live time and saw him limp off the field, like, I'm shocked that he's back. I'm very excited that he's back so fast, and I do think it can help the Kansas City Chiefs. What Chiefs running back is going to get the biggest workload? Probably Clyde. It's probably Clyde, but Darrell Williams is going to be involved. He's done enough to continue to be involved. So it's hard to exactly know how much Clyde's going to touch the ball. Depending on his health, he should get over 50%. Yeah, he is. He is splitting snaps. Is AB playing? No. Antonio Brown is out. Antonio Brown is out today, which means Scotty Miller is an interesting sleeper. He's an interesting sleeper today. I think that he's going to be the guy who's most likely to fill in for Antonio Brown. But we are also going to see Scotty Miller splitting some time as well. So there's a chance that Scotty Miller and Marquez Valdez-Scantling are the best high upside sleepers in these games. These are probably the 2 best games of the season, guys. We have the top 4 offenses left. The top 4 offenses left. Tyler Johnson also probably going to get some work today. Justin Watson might be out there. How about Tyler Johnson? Yeah, Tyler Johnson hasn't played quite as much as Scotty Miller this year, but he's probably I'm expecting like a 70-30 split in the work in that role. Like Scotty Miller's probably going to play 70% of that role, and Tyler Johnson's going to take the other 30%. Tyler Johnson probably has the best catch in the playoffs, by the way. One of those catches he had, I think last week, was absolutely insane. How about Devontae Adams? Kobe. Devontae Adams is the safest player that's playing today. No cornerback can stop Devontae Adams. We just saw the best cornerback in the NFL. If you don't think he's the best, you can definitely agree with me that he's top 3. Jalen Ramsey's at least a top 3 corner. I think he's the best. I think Jalen Ramsey is the best corner in the league. And we just saw Devontae Adams absolutely torch it. Devontae Adams' floor is what he did last game. Like the Buccaneers' best corner is okay. He's probably top 10, but he's not better than Jalen Ramsey. So Devontae Adams is going to feast. You think I should parlay Bucks and Bills? No, probably not. If you're going to bet on those, I would recommend just betting on those individually, because I do think at least one of those teams is probably going to win. I think all 4 teams today have a very real chance to win the Super Bowl. I think all 4 teams left can win it all. As a data science student, WalterPicks is so cool to see. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, really the core of the brand is math. It is about math. It is about spending hours upon hours tuning our algorithm to be as best as it possibly can be to guide the right decision-making, getting the personal bias out of fantasy football takes. Because if you look on the interweb, guys, there's a lot of fantasy football NFL people selling their bets, selling their advice that are really just, taking their personal opinions. What's the free play? Andrew, it is John Brown, over 50 receiving yards. Over 50 receiving yards. Lock that in. Not at the moment, Phil, but we could be. Email us. Our email you can find in the hamburger menu on the in the app. Email us, and I'll add you to our list of people we can reach out to. Do I trade Sabonis? No, I wouldn't. Yeah, Matt, I agree. That's a good general statement. That's a good summarizing statement of what I'm trying to say. If you're asking, should I parlay or should I tease or should I round robin? The answer is almost definitely no, unless you're trying to have fun. Because if you're trying to have fun and the most fun thing is maximizing your upside, then yeah, go for it. If you're trying to be profitable and win money, then no, almost always no, don't parlay. How do you like this lineup? Brady, Aaron Jones, Singletary, Godwin, Diggs, Lazard, Fournette, Kelsey, Bills defense. Yeah, I like it. I do like it. I think I like Ronald Jones a little bit more than Fournette, honestly, in this game. So that might be the one thing I would change. But I think Allen Lazard or Scantling is probably going to be what unlocks this slate for people. Like, I don't think you can have a lineup without one of those guys, because one of them is going to do very well. Like Lazard or Scantling are going to have to step up. Tunyon too. Like one of those 3 has to step up if they're going to win this game. The free prop pick of the day, if you missed it, guys, it is John Brown over 50 receiving yards. 49.5 is officially what I got it at, in case he ends up with exactly 50. And hit that like and subscribe button if you're watching live on YouTube, guys. We got 7 minutes left on the stream. I'm going to spend the last 7 minutes of the stream on just YouTube live. So if you're watching live on TikTok, we're getting to my favorite part of the stream where I'm only live on YouTube. You got to come join that YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 10,000 YouTube subscribers by the time the next NFL season starts. We're about a third of the way there. We're almost at 3,000. You can help us get there today. So hit that subscribe button if you're watching live on YouTube. Sam, who do you think will have more yards in the first half, Diggs or Kelsey? I'm going with Diggs there. I would take Diggs over Kelsey for the game and for the first half. Stephon Diggs is an absolute baller. Is it WalterPicks? Yes, WalterPicks. YouTube gang is where it's at. What's your TikTok? It's at WalterPicks. TikTok has really been a lot of fun this season. We've had a lot of success on TikTok. It's been great. And I'm extremely, extremely grateful for every single one of our TikTok followers. All of our social media platforms, guys, this was our first year as a business, as a brand. WalterPicks, this is our inauguration year. We actually, coming up on March, we started in, I think, March 5th was when we officially incorporated. So we haven't even been around for a full year yet. Every single one of the social media channels that you see for us, we're on Instagram, on Twitter, at WalterPicks. We're on TikTok, at WalterPicks. All of those literally started at 0 before the NFL season. You can see where they are now. So we had some exciting organic growth, which was awesome. How are you, Dean? I'm doing great, man. Thanks for asking. If you had to pick one to move on between Mahomes and Rodgers, which one? I'd go Mahomes. I'm going Mahomes over Rodgers. And I think Mahomes has the better matchup too. WalterPicks is the future. It is. And also there really is a gap right now in the fantasy football industry, in my opinion, in the app space. I mean, there's really not that many apps out there doing what we do. Most of them are a web browser. and most of those web browsers are used on people's phones. So what are they doing? Build an app. Will you continue to stream in the offseason? Yeah, I will. And we'll be doing some dynasty fantasy football content. We'll be doing a lot of NBA content. And I will be doing fantasy football draft content way too early. Like, it's going to be obnoxiously early that I'm talking about season-long fantasy football. And so for the people that are very into their season-long fantasy football research, I promise you, you're following the right person. You carried me through fantasy football, so maybe some basketball help would be nice. Nice. Do you think Mahomes is completely healthy? I think he is healthy enough. I think he's at least 90% healthy. So I'm not worried about his injuries. But that's my opinion. The only person that really knows the answer to that question is Patrick Mahomes. So you never know. Young Buck DFS, how's it going, man? I'm been enjoying watching your core plays, and I know it can be a little intimidating when you first start out an account. Like, you start with 0 followers. I was there literally less than a year ago. So you can check out where my account is now. If you post every single day, you can grow really fast. So keep up the good work, man. I think you're doing great. Do you ever bet on a pick Walter likes at 60%, but you only suggest 65 plus? No, Spencer, I never do. And I only bet on what's in the app. When is a good time to do a dynasty draft? Philip, the best part about dynasty fantasy football is there's never a bad time to do a draft. There's never a bad time. You could do it now, and then you draft the rookies. I've done a dynasty fantasy football draft before you draft the rookies, and you had to draft the rookie picks in the startup draft. Very fun, very fun. All right, I'm going to be logging off of TikTok. You got to come to YouTube to tune into the live stream. Appreciate everyone watching live on TikTok. Have a good Sunday if you don't follow us to YouTube. And I'm live just on YouTube now. Favorite part of the stream. When is a good time? Yeah, Phil, there's really never a bad time. The player prop, Aiden, it is John Brown over 50 yards. And guys, let's just do a quick summary of my thoughts on the games again, because we really haven't talked about the games since the beginning of the stream. The Green Bay Packers, we have the top 4 offenses left in the NFL. Number 1 over the last 2 months, if we're just looking at the last 2 months, which I think is the right thing to do, because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the beginning of the season versus the last 2 months, really the last month, completely different teams. And I think any analysis that's taking in what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense was at the beginning of the season is really overlooking the story of their season. They've gotten much better throughout the year. They've clearly started to understand the system. Tom Brady has grown in the system, and he's gained a relationship with the receivers over time. And it's helped. It has definitely helped the offense. And I don't think that can be ignored. So if we're looking at the offenses, let's look at just the last 2 months, ranking the offenses adjusted for strength of opponent. We have number 1 was the Buffalo Bills. Nobody stopped them. The Buffalo Bills have been absolutely cooking on offense. Number 2 was the Green Bay Packers, who have scored the most points of any team in the NFL. They led the team. They led the NFL in points. Aaron Rodgers is the MVP, the best quarterback rating. He was the best quarterback in the NFL. Threw the most touchdowns, top 5 completion percentage, despite throwing top 3 deep attempts per game in the NFL. Absolutely ludicrous from Aaron Jones in his age, 37 season? I mean, the ageless quarterbacks, by the way, one of the most exciting trends in the NFL is how well these quarterbacks are starting to age. I mean, Aaron is supposed to be done, and he's going to be the MVP, probably going to go to the Super Bowl. Like, he's an absolute beast. And I think that the Buccaneers have a very real chance to win this game, though, because Tom Brady and the Buccaneers offense over the last 2 months, Brady has thrown 340 plus yards in 6 of his last 9 games. 340 yards at least. He has 400 yards in his range of outcomes every single game. The reason is because they're throwing the ball deep more than any team in the NFL, just like they did last year with Jameis Winston. The big difference this year is Tom Brady, when he's missing deep, he's not throwing interceptions. He's thrown what, a fifth of the amount of interceptions that Jameis Winston had last year? It's John Brown over receiving yards. Thanks, Matt. Where do you think the Colts will be if Luck never retired? Oh, Phil. Andrew Luck's got to come back, man. Andrew Luck was good. I think that the Colts probably would be in one of these games if Andrew Luck did not retire. I mean, that's really all the Colts are missing, isn't Andrew Luck? Epic, we're not quite there yet. You got the 8th pick next year. We're not quite towards the season-long drafts yet. So I'm taking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers over the Green Bay Packers. But I do understand. I agree that the Packers should be favored. I just like the upset here. I think that Tom Brady in the playoffs and with the better defense, he's got the better weapons on offense. I think he can win this game. And I'm not going to be surprised when he does. Is Prize Picks in Prize Picks, do you usually choose all four the app suggests or do 2 at a time? Dylan, I got to write an article about some of this stuff, Dylan. Yeah, I almost always only do 2. The way that the Prize Picks and Underdogs app work, which by the way we have links to in the WalterPicks app, use those links. In the WalterPicks app, place prop picks here. I almost never do more than 2 players because even though it increases your odds, just like the same reason I don't usually bet on parlays, same reason I wouldn't usually do more than 2. I do like the flex option though in Prize Picks, where if one player hits, you'll get paid. So I usually do 2 players flex option in Prize Picks. So yeah, I'm all in on Chris Godwin, John Brown flex option. Prize Picks, sign me up. By the way, Prize Picks had Chris Godwin. I think it's still at like 65. Very soft prop market over on Prize Picks. You got to check it out. The Colts became the team luck wanted. Yeah, exactly. The GPP lineup on DraftKings. Yeah, listen, let me go through a quick lineup on DraftKings. I think I maxed out the $3 entries in the max 20 entry one, like I did most of the season. Here's my lineup on DraftKings. I'm going with Tom Brady stacked with Chris Godwin. It's my favorite quarterback receiver stack, especially at the value. At running back, I went with Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Devin Singletary, 2 guys who, to me, Devin Singletary has a chance, to me, to touch the ball more than any running back on the slate, especially if the Bills are able to get a lead. I went with Clyde because I think he could be very involved in the passing game. The Bills have not been very good against running backs. And then Tyreek Hill, if you're playing Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Devin Singletary, now I can pay up for Devontae Adams and Tyreek Hill and Stephon Diggs, all in the same lineup. If I don't play Kelsey and I pivot to Tonyan, I think Robert Tonyan's one of the most interesting pivots on the slate, because if Robert Tonyan scores a touchdown and Travis Kelsey does not, the Tonyan lineups are in such an advantageous point, and Travis Kelsey's going to have probably over 30% ownership. So I like Tonyan a lot, and because when you're playing Tonyan at the tight end slot, you can play guys like Tyreek Hill, like Devontae Adams, like Stephon Diggs, all in the same lineup. I mean, what a high-powered lineup that is. Should I take John Brown over 56.5? Yeah, we projected for 61 yards, Andrew. So it's not horrible. It's not horrible. I don't hate it. The Colts became the team luck wanted. That is true. Guys, that's my time. I'm taking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm taking the Kansas City Chiefs. But again, I think all 4 of these teams can legitimately win the Super Bowl. I'm not going to be surprised at all if any of these teams wins at this point. I will be surprised if we see either the Packers or the Chiefs get blown out, though. Guys, have a great Sunday. Lock in John Brown over 50 yards. I will talk to you all the few hours leading up to the Super Bowl. Maybe I'll do it the day before because I know, I don't know, COVID times, who knows what people are doing for the Super Bowl this year. But maybe I'll do it the day before. I'll make sure I'll let you all know on social media. Have a great Sunday. Enjoy the football, guys. We got 3 games left. We got to enjoy every single one of them. Have a fantastic Sunday, everyone.